Alrighty, folks. Here we are again. Dare I say, against my better judgment. But we are here nonetheless, continuing working on the Great Retrofitting, which is a project that, let's be honest, is never going to be finished anytime soon, just because of the sheer scope of the thing. But we are here. We're gonna keep building stuff, and honestly, I don't really have much of a plan coming into this besides keep working on the three vehicles that we've worked on a little bit already throughout the past couple of streams. I had done a little bit of work off camera, mostly on this. I made some further adjustments to the weapons, though frankly even more needs to be done. Eventually, my plan for this is just to expand the entire boat out by like probably 4 blocks. Just because, A, we need more armor on here, and there's just literally not enough space inside of it to add more armor right now. And on top of that, we also need to actually build an ammo room and not have our ammo barrels sitting underneath the boat like this. Because this is just a horrendous idea. Like, I'm pretty sure when I first built this way back in the day, this was a temporary solution, and we need to get rid of it. Because as it stands right now, that is not cutting it. And that alone makes up, like, probably a decent 70% of why the boat is so bad at surviving. So that's generally something we have to work on. We also did a mild amount of shaping to things up here. And then also, what we worked on was this other speeder, hovercraft, whatever you want to call it, that needs a lot of work done to it. Mostly what we did was we completely rebuilt the APS turret, because that needed to be rebuilt. And then we added more thrusters to the back, and then I had to spend probably about 2 hours fixing the PID, because honestly, I don't even know why I had to fix it, but I changed the AI from the auto-generated behavior to something else, and it just completely broke the PID. And even after setting all of the PID settings back to exactly how they were before, it's still not working correctly. Also, I have a sneaking suspicion that my headset might have just died because there is no audio. Either that or the game is silent, which is also entirely an option. But I'm going to go plug my headset in anyways just to be safe. Make sure I'm not going insane here. Okay, no, the game just stole our audio privileges. That's fine. We didn't need audio anyway. We are better than audio. Let's take a look at this. Like, the PID was working fine until the part where it wasn't. We can turn the gain down a little bit, and that should hopefully take care of that a little. But the other thing is that this does not have enough engine power to sustain flight. If it keeps flying for long enough, the engine will just kind of crap out on us, and it loses the ability to fly until it takes like 10 minutes to recharge the battery in it. So we need to tweak the general power system of this as a whole to fix that issue. Then once we take care of that, we also are going to need to generally redo the shaping of this, because right now all the thrusters on it are just kind of duct taped on there to make sure it functioned. And also just these whole little wing bits just look ugly. They need to be completely rebuilt from scratch and made to look nicer, because this is just janky as all sorts of hell. So I guess the real question is which of these two projects do we want to work on first? And of course, I mean, the third vehicle that we were working on was this one. And at this rate, I don't entirely know what else that I want to do with it. I mean, it needs more done to it. That much is obvious. I just don't know what necessarily I feel like doing with it, you know? So we'll see. But for right now, I'm mostly interested on working on these two projects because these are the two things that I've mostly been doing lately. And I feel like I'm making good progress on both of them, which is like the big thing. But both of them, like, I don't know. I'm torn on which I want to do. I'll make it your problem, chat. Do we work on Floaty Boy or on Boaty Boy? Both of them need work on them one way or another. But I'm torn on which one I want to work on first. So it's your problem now. Congratulations. You figured it out. I need to do work on this gun too. Like I've got it mostly where I'm happy with it, but it could have more done with it to make it a little bit better stat wise. So basically we just need to do a little bit of everything one way or another. Like what's interesting is right now, when it's idle, it isn't burning engine power at all. So when it's idle, it's fine. It's just when it's moving that this needs, like that the engine power starts freaking out on us. But it can float idly and not burn any resources, which is nice. But of course, in combat, it floating idly does not help us whatsoever. So I don't know. We'll see. For now, though, we just need to figure out what we want to work on. Or if not, I might just have to flip a coin if y'all don't have any particular opinions on it. Because I don't really either. Like, most of the time I've been at work and have had the itch to play from the depths, it's either been to work on this or to work on this or to work on some other stuff that we haven't even got to yet. Because mind you, this profile we have here, that is just an archive of all of my old builds. We have almost 100 saves through here to work on. I've just been focusing on these 6 so that we have something to be grounded with and not have a dozen half-finished projects instead. So I want to just like bounce around between 2 or 3 different projects until they're complete and then start on another set of 2 or 3. RTGs inexpensive or slow. Well, that's what this is using. This is entirely powered by RTGs and batteries, and I don't know entirely what the deal is that's messing it up, but there's something with how electric engines work in From the Depths that is weird. Honestly, I think what we might have to do is just like add a really tiny fuel engine on here that has 100% of its power production going to boosting the RTGs instead of trying to power the engines. Because as long as we can get our power production over our power consumption, then this can be entirely self-sufficient. And I think that putting a really tiny fuel engine in here would probably be more resource efficient than putting enough RTGs in here to sustain it. Because I still want this to be relatively cheap. Because I don't want it getting any bigger than this. And this is relatively tiny. But I think we can make that work. We'll just have to see how we decide to play it out. But for now, I think that I want to work on Bodhi Boy because all of the from the depths that I played this morning off camera, because I had stuff going on around the house, so I couldn't really stream. I worked on the Floaty Boy. So I think Bodhi Boy for now is going to be the play, and we can work on Floaty Boy some more later. Oh, don't want to be working on that. So Floaty Boy, or no, this is Bodhi Boy. Bodhi Boy is going to be a bit of an interesting situation. Literally what we're doing is we're going to expand this entire boat out in either direction so that we have more to work with in terms of just general area. So we're just gonna play it like this. Keep the general shaping of everything the same. And just generally make the boat bigger. Which, I mean, this is going to be a whole entire thing. But it should be worth it in the long run, I think. So let's just see what we can do here. Let's just start framing it out and go from there pretty much. I guess it would probably be easier to start at the very top. Ooh, I can't speak today. Yeah, let's do that. Let's start from up here. That should be a little bit easier for us to work with. Because then we can just expand the hole out pretty much. And of course, we're going to get rid of all these metal blocks in due time, don't worry. So then we do it like that with a 3-meter beam. And then we do a 4-meter beam, like so. And then we do more 4-meter beams. But we're just going to keep... I guess we're not just going to keep beaming it out. This does complicate things. Hold on, let's undo all of that. So I guess we're just going to have to do it a little bit more like this. And just do it out with 2 meters. And get some room off the boat before we switch to like 3 meters and 4 meters. And honestly, this would be easier if we did 1 meters up here a little bit more before we swap to the 2 meters, so let's actually do that. Yeah, that works. Now let's swap to the 2 meters. There we go, that's a little bit better. That gives us a little bit more breathing room. And yes, I know this is very block inefficient. I'm gonna go back and change it later, I promise. Then we can start maybe 3-meter beaming it. Which, I mean, we're still not quite getting where we want to be, but we're not too far off. And then we can 4-meter beam it from here, I think. Yeah, sure, that works. And then we 4-meter beam out again for this bit. Like so. Because we gotta remember we're making it bigger in the back as well. we're gonna do 4 plus 3 so that we have an equal or a centerpiece back there for when we do like a weapon system of some sort. And then we go straight back, and then we do what? 4 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. Okay, let's do 4 meter, 2 meter, 1 meter this time. And I guess we can do some more beaming back here too, actually. Make it slightly less flat. That's a bit better. And then 3 meter, and then block. So just like that, we've made the boat a little bit bigger. For good measure, we should probably also make it a little bit deeper, probably by like a block or so. Let's do 2 blocks deeper. Why not? And then we just repeat the whole process from there. You just have to make sure that we're copying the blocks that we did up here correctly. So then this is when we switch to the 2 meters. Alright, yeah, that seems to work. Also, well, I don't entirely care for the game soundtrack all that much. It's a little too quiet right now. So let's turn the music back on a little bit. Just so that there's something to listen to, you know? Ooh, that's a problem. This doesn't line up, does it? Never mind, it does. We're good. So let's see. 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter. Yep. Okay. 2 meter. 2 meter. That ain't right. And then... Are we still doing the 2 meters here? Yeah, 2 meter here. And then we swap to the 3 meters after this one. Okay. We're doing it, gang. We're making this work. Hopefully, it'll be worth all of the effort in the end. And then is this where we swap to the 4 meters? Yes, it is. Cool. And then we do one more 4 meter. Like so. And then straight for a little bit. Like so. Like so. And then we do 4 meters again. Yeah, we're making it work. We got it going. And we're very smart. Surely. Absolutely nothing could go wrong here. Then one more. And then some slopes again. And we did 4 and 3, that's right. So that way we can have a center point when we put a weapon system there, if we do. I don't actually know for sure that I am going to. But that way we got it if we need it. Yep. Cool beans. And then 4 meter. Wrong orientation. 2 meter. Wrong way. We need one of these 2 meters. There we go. Then 1 meter, then 2 meters. And then there we go. That's got it. Yeah, there we go. Also, just a second. Gotta grab something. Okay, that's a little better. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to sacrifice our microphone quality just a little bit, and that's okay. It is simply too hot where I live to justify not not having the air conditioner on. So now that that's taken care of, we suddenly have a lot more boat to work with, which is cool. But I guess the next order of business is to start building all this down. And then we pretty much just kind of go from there. Fortunately, we don't have beam slope variants of the other slope shapes, which is fair. But that is going to inflate the block count a little bit. So we'll just have to see what we can make happen. I mean, we're now making this boat a bit more expensive than I had originally planned. But, you know, I think it'll be worth it in the end. I guess is what I'm trying to get at, is that I think that the added survivability from adjusting things on here will be worth the cost. I was gonna say we should take a screenshot of what it used to look like, but I've streamed it enough times that we pretty much know what it used to look like. I can just take a screenshot from the stream VOD if I really wanted to. So it is cool seeing like the whole transformation process of just more or less completely scrapping and redoing the build. Also, that's a 4-meter beam, not a 3-meter beam. Fortunately, expanding the hull is kind of the easy part. After this, we gotta rebuild all of the internals to make it do what we want it to do. Which is fine. Worth the effort. We can get rid of this reference block now. Also, we can get rid of these too. We've expanded the hull out. Next thing I think I want to do is actually expand it down another block. So that's a little bit less like this. So let's do that right quick. Improve the drag on it just a little bit. Of course, the next challenge after this is making this thing actually float. now that we've made it so much heavier. That's going to be its own can of worms, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, we're going to be able to use this extra hull space to really improve all of the internals and add a lot better armor than what we've got going on here. Again, that's supposed to be a 3-meter beam, not a 4-meter. I knew that. I'm the person who built this boat. I know. I swear. I promise I went to college and got a degree in shipbuilding. Aw, crap. Uh-oh. We made a bit of an oopsie, chat. There is no block that makes this shape. So, what we're going to have to do to rectify that is cut all of this off and make it a second... Uh-oh, wrong way. Make it a second 1 meter. And then from there, we can do the 2 meter. So that's fine. Crisis averted. We also could have gotten out of this situation by using mimics, but I'm already having to put all this much time into making the boat work. I don't feel like putting twice as much time into making the boat look pretty. We can do that after we make everything in the Great Retrofitting functional. But that's a little better. That's a little more floaty, a little more boaty. We have beam blocks of that. I do like that From the Depths made beam blocks be like slightly statistically better. What are these? What? Did they add blocks I was not aware of? Wow. I wish I knew that before I fixed everything. Oh well. It's fine. Whatever. Not important. What is important is now we have slightly more boat per boat. And it looks kind of silly right now. But more boat per boat is generally a pretty good thing. I don't like how flat it is back here, though. It looks a little bit silly. And that's okay, whatever. So, next order of business, we fill it all in. And you know what we're not gonna do? We're not going to do the atrocious ammo storage situation that we've got going on, because that's just kind of pathetic. So we're going to not do that, as a matter of fact. I'm curious as to what we actually are going to do, though, because we have substantially increased the volume of this boat. And also, we're going to make our lives easy. Use the build tool. The fill tool is instant now. What the hell? Nobody told me this before. I love when I play from the depths for like... Or I go without playing from the depths for a long time, and suddenly there are quality of life features that are convenient and useful. Like the fill tool being instantaneous and not filling it one block at a time. Fascinating. Alright, next order of business. Get rid of all of this stupid ammo storage on the bottom of the boat. I don't remember it being instant either. That's news to me. I don't once ever remember it being instant. Also, welcome out to the stream. Hope you're doing well. I mean, that's how it used to be back when I played this game more regularly, but I guess they changed it. Which is fine with me. Makes things a lot easier. I like it when things are convenient. What isn't convenient is deleting all of this stupid stuff I put on the bottom here. I'm having to pretty regularly ask myself, what the hell was I doing in From the Depths in 2016? Because, oh lord, is this just a disaster. But we're getting through it. We're making it work. This will be a little bit easier with only one block, so I can see a little better. Deleting all of this one block at a time is a little bit tedious. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is, before we do anything, is I'm going to fill this entire first layer in a layer of wood to try and help this thing float marginally better. Because if I don't, this thing's going to sink like a brick. But this wood alone should be buoyant enough to offset all of the extra weight that I put on. And then, of course, once we actually build things in here, that will also help. There we go. I like that. That's really neat and convenient. Wonk. Alright. Just out of curiosity, what happens if I put it in the water right now? It does float. So my theory about the wood... Oh, nope, now we're sinking. Well, we sort of float. My theory about the wood was sort of close. So once we actually start sectioning this off and putting air pumps and stuff in, we'll be good. So I guess the next order of business is to strip off the old hull so that we can start turning it into one singular boat and not a smaller boat with a larger boat's shell around it. Of course, we can get rid of the propellers as well, since they're not doing us any good right there. Also, I apparently did my fill tool wrong. That's okay. We can go through and fix that, but also darn. And leave that on there just so we don't disconnect the outside part from the inside part. And also what we're going to do is we're going to save while we're thinking about it, because we haven't done that in a minute. Uh-oh. That sure is floating right over there. Why? There we go, that got rid of it. I guess it was technically connected there. That's weird. At least from the depths, it's nice enough to hit us with the classic bangers now. The songs we actually knew as music. From the before times. Back before they actually added a whole new soundtrack to the game. It should be floating, for it is a ship. I mean, I guess you're not wrong. That seems like sound enough logic to me. There we go. That's a little better. That's what I get for misplacing my fill tool, apparently. What keeps exploding in there? That is the steam engine doing steam engine things in there. I guess we can also strip off this layer of underside. Uh-oh. That's not what we want. Don't do that. We are losing some blocks from doing this that no longer have connections, and oh, well, that's a problem. Let's not delete our turrets real quick. There we go. Glad I caught that before I deleted it. That could have been a bit of a problem otherwise. Oh, get rid of that. That don't need to be there. We're getting a little too aggressive with our clicking, apparently. Okay, there we go. Now we have a little bit more to work with. We have all of the internals exposed, so we can try and figure things out. And, go from there, pretty much. I don't intend... I guess I could just drag all of the internals down by 2 blocks. Go from there. That might not be a bad idea, honestly. Also, our AI really does not need to be at the very front of the boat. That was a stupid decision. Yeah, let's not do that, as a matter of fact. The AI should be way back in the back here. Maybe even underneath the engine. That could work. And also, this engine now needs exhaust. And also this. As cool as it was, having the missiles pop up out of the hole on a spin block, not worth the amount of effort it requires. When we can just build a vertical launch missile battery right here, and also have it be substantially gooder and better. Oh, well, we accidentally deleted the cram cannon, but that's okay because I wanted to rebuild the cram cannon anyway, so we're still good in that regard. Frankly, what I kind of want to do real quick is get rid of that, get rid of this, And actually, we have to get rid of all the wood to do what I want to do. So I want to expand the deck out to see, mostly, does it look good at all with this new hole size, or is it goofy? Because if it's goofy, then we might have to rebuild the superstructure and all that, which is a whole project in of itself. So we're gonna do it with lightweight alloy, which is a little expensive. Dare I say more expensive than it's probably worth, but whatever. So I'm just gonna fill it in with 4-meter beams. I'm gonna do this the lazy man's way. For I am the lazy man. Just see how it looks from there. And all of the holes we're leaving, be darned. We'll go back through and fill all those in. That's fine. This soundtrack just keeps getting more and more bizarre to me. You know what? That's okay. It is kind of crazy just how much more room we have to work with now all of a sudden. I kind of dig it, honestly. Got 2 meters up here. And we can just do individual block. That's fine. Then get rid of this beam. Put 3-meter, 4-meter right here, and block the metal. I will say, there's not a chance that this will float now. No way. Why is it actually floating? And the center of buoyancy is all over the place down there. But it actually seems to be floating. How did making it bigger make it float better? Huh? It's actually floating higher off the water than I necessarily want it to. I mean, that... okay, whatever. Fine. That's fine. We're gonna make it work. Almost what I'm thinking of doing is moving the superstructure back here a bit. Because as it stands right now, we just have a comically small superstructure for a now much larger boat. Or I guess what we could do is just keep expanding the superstructure out a bit. Let's do that. Let's just make the superstructure a bit bigger. Well, actually, I mean, we should probably be focusing on all of the stuff under the ship before we start working on all the stuff above the ship. But also, I'm feeling evil today, you know? Also, this is the center point for this turret, right? This is. We could rebuild this turret a bit and make it look nicer as well. Because right now, it does not look great. that's okay. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to pretty things up. Also, this now has no function here because it's supposed to be at the front of the boat, and it's not. Oh, we have so much work to do on this. So much work to do. Steam engine, honestly, fine where it is. I'm not gonna worry about it. These we pretty much just need to bring down, which is not gonna be that hard. Wow, they've added more blocks to fuel engines since the last time I built a fuel engine. Okay. I wonder if this fuel engine is even like remotely any good. Full pipe, full pipe, full pipe, full pipe. Then we just refill this back in with metal now. Problem solved. It now vents out of the ship, which is what we want in the first place. Yep, I'm finally not at work. Working 7 days a week makes it hard to stream sometimes. But here we are. What are the stats of this here fuel engine? What are your... So you make 200, basically 300 power per material. What's the rubber for? What rubber? We have mystery rubber somewhere on the boat. Oh, the surge protectors. Because there's just a bunch of AI stuff crammed in here. This boat used to be about probably 6 blocks smaller in every direction. So we're currently working on completely redoing everything in here because the boat was just too small to actually fit all of the functional components into that I wanted in here. So we're basically going to have to rebuild more or less everything in here, but I think the end result should be a lot better. Mostly what I'm thinking is pretty much just prefabbing everything in here and moving it all down a block. Or maybe even 2 blocks. We'll see how I feel. That in itself becomes a whole ordeal. What I will say is that we do need to actually make an ammo room first and foremost, because the old one was dumb and lame. And not very room-shaped. So there. So are we doing this in a 3x3? Is this what the plan used to be? I guess so. In which case, we put one here. Yeah, that should be fine. Keyword here being should. There's a lot of things here that could go very wrong and have to get completely redone later on. but we will see. So I guess the big what if here is where the hell do we want to start with this? Because we have to redo basically everything. I mean, I guess first things first, let's just armor it up a bit. Because, I mean, that was one of the big issues that we had before, is just that everything was protected by one singular beam, or one singular layer of metal, and nothing else. God, I can't speak today. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I've worried I've got to do, is I've just got to go through and delete everything and start from scratch inside of here. Which is probably going to have to be the plan. And rebuild the superstructure, because now the superstructure looks really small, since the boat is substantially bigger than it used to be. For now, let's do that. Let's just start stripping components out of here. And we'll just go back through and start with scratch. Start from scratch for a lot of this. Oh, well, that got rid of all of that, but that's fine. We didn't need all that. I don't really care about the AI, because I'm pretty sure the AI was using mostly default settings anyway. So I'm not really worried about just straight up deleting them. That's fine. Okay, that's a little bit better. We have some room to think here. Plus, we could actually make an interior for this now that we have a little bit more room to play with. The first order of business, let's make, like, just a second layer of armor all throughout here. Something like this should be fine. At least for this section. And then once we get things going a little bit better in here, we can maybe even add another layer. Hopefully it won't come to that, but we shall see. Redundancy is good. We'll see. I'll deal with fancy stuff later on. For now, let's just get this thing actually up and running. And then we can go from there. We can also gut all of this, because we don't need any of this in here anymore. And we can gut all of this out. Don't need, well, we do need this, but we don't need this in this spot. I guess we can also remove the heavy armor, because we don't know if we're going to have anything important in here. Right now, let's just get ourselves some breathing room so we can actually figure things out in here. Get rid of these ACBs, because we're getting rid of the pop-up missiles to just build a vertical missile system. But from what I can tell, the steam engine in here is sort of decent. At least I think. I don't actually really know. So I might copy all of it down. Let's get rid of all these batteries, though. These batteries are just making it impossible to see in here. And maybe prune some of the RTGs out as well, because I don't actually think we really need all of the RTGs that we stuffed in here. Redundancy is nice and all, but this is more expensive than it needs to be. Uh-huh. I don't know what half that means, but that's okay. Oh, more batteries we gotta gut out. Get rid of those. We can make some actual dedicated battery rooms and not just have every little square inch of free space in here filled up with batteries. That would be a massive benefit to us. There we go. Get rid of all this wood as well. We are basically just doing a complete rebuild of this ship at this rate. And you know what? That's okay. We've been talking about doing it for a while now. We might as well get around to actually doing it. So, there we go. So let's say I put down some empty batteries. Let's also turn the steam engine off. There should be a way to turn it off. Well, actually, it's set to not charge the batteries at all. So if we just plunk down some batteries, will they charge from the steam engine? Yes, they should. So let's just plunk some batteries down. And they spawn already full. Good to know. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help us at all to see if the steam engine is working correctly or not. But whatever, that's fine. Let's just prefab all this and go from there. So let's move it over here. Make sure it's long enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good to know. Right. So 15 should be good. And then figure out how deep it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 16. And then it has a height of 1, 2, 3. Yep. And that should be everything, right? Nope, it's not long enough. Okay. Yep, there we go. And then we actually shrink the width down there and there. Cool. Capture, let's drag it up here. That all looks right. So, save. Wow, I have a lot of prefabs. I wonder what these are. There we go. Then we can clear. Go back up to here. Make sure everything is still correct. Yes, it is. And delete. Then load the steam engine. Go down 2 blocks. And we're right back to being good. Then we just need to pipe it up a little bit. Like so. And there we go. Suddenly we are good again. So let's just delete this fuel engine block. So it looks like we produced 27,000 power. Steam engine. Cool beans. And this makes 2,100 roughly. So this is just a little tiny backup in case something goes wrong. Like now that we've done that, we can work on armoring it up a little bit. And I guess we can add stuff back into this room, should we so desire. Unless we want to put more steam engine stuff in here. But I think we're good. Now that does propose an interesting idea. We could attempt to use steam-powered propellers. But I've never done that before, so I don't entirely know how it works. But we could try it. So these are just to change. Okay. Oh, there's a Steam guide. I guess it would help if we read that. We're gonna save this real quick in case the Steam guide decides to try and rip us away into the ethereal plane. Let's learn how to build a steam engine.
The steam engine is a powerful and flexible type of engine that can output a tremendous
Since when was there
amount of power.
voiceovers
It can also be used
for
to
the
create propulsion
tutorials?
and even be used for drills. This guide will go over the creation of a steam engine's various functionalities. There are 3 sizes to steam engines: small, medium and large. This guide will cover all the small parts. The medium and large parts are similar in function but require much more space to use effectively.
Uh-huh. Do we have a gearbox on it? Yeah, surely we have a gearbox on it. Surely we're not that stupid, right, chat? Surely.
The
Okay.
steam controller is used to maintain the attached boiler and adjust its burn rate. Without it, a boiler will not function. You can press Q on the controller to adjust the burn rate. You can also control the burn rate via ACBs.
Okay, I knew that. We're good
The
still.
boiler is what burns the materials to produce steam and can be as long as you like. The longer the boiler, the more materials it's capable of burning. The more materials burned, the more steam that's produced. Multiple steam controllers and their attached boilers can be connected using pipes, which are explained in the next step, so you can use multiple small boilers to power a steam system.
I knew that.
Steam pipes do as they say. They pipe the steam created from boilers to another location. You can have intricate piping systems, and the choices of your pipes are varied to handle nearly any connection needed. If a steam pipe gets destroyed, then the steam pressure will drop drastically for the remaining system and cause those systems to fail. Try to keep steam pipes well protected or short to reduce the chances of this happening. Steam pistons. With the basis of how steam is generated and piped, let's go on to creating engine power. The first thing you will need are pistons. These will use the steam pressure to turn the crankshaft of the gearbox, which is explained soon. The more pistons you have, the more steam pressure they'll use to rotate the crankshaft. Pistons have both an input and an output. The input is on the back and is where you'd connect the piston to your main steam pipe. The output on the top can be used to recycle steam back into the system or to power other pistons or turbines, which is explained later. Using the output is not required.
Well, we've known this much so far. We're still good so far,
chat. You
chat.
can line up multiple pistons on the same pipe to use steam generated by a boiler. This is needed if you want more power output from an attached gearbox and its crankshaft. Multiple pistons, alternate connection. This setup uses the first piston's output to provide steam to the input of a second piston. This uses steam more efficiently.
Okay, I didn't know that. We have officially learned something, chat. We're getting somewhere here.
The gearbox is the main block for producing engine power for steam. It is here that you will attach crankshafts, standard shafts, and other parts that work with the aforementioned parts. It is also required for making steam propellers and drills.
Okay, good to know.
The crankshaft is the connection point for a piston, which will allow the entire shaft to rotate. You can have multiple crankshafts on the shaft line, and multiple pistons can connect to the same crankshaft from different sides. There is a cased crankshaft which is more durable, but it is also heavier and more expensive. Its functionality is the same.
Okay, I knew that much.
The shaft is an extension to the shaft line that doesn't have connections for pistons. It is useful for extending the shaft line without needing many pistons. It is also used to connect the transmission to a propeller, which is explained later. There is a reinforced shaft called the shaft bearing, which is more durable but also heavier and more expensive. The shaft wheel connects to the shaft line and is a connection point for the shaft generator. It does nothing by itself.
Okay.
The shaft generator connects to a wheel in the shaft line and serves to produce energy from the shaft line that can be stored in batteries. Multiple shaft generators can connect to the same wheel. Shaft generators and wheels are not required to be used. They're only needed if you wish to produce energy.
So that's what I thought. We're still good so far.
Propeller transmission. Now that the basics of creating engine power from the shaft line have been covered, let's convert this power to operate a propeller. To do this, you will need a transmission. It simply connects to the shaft line like so. On the other end, you will connect a shaft and a propeller to complete the process. This will be shown in the next step. The transmission has a configurable gear ratio which can increase the output, but will require the transmission to take more kinetic energy from the shaft line, reducing the output of engine power. Here is the finished product of a steam propeller. The shaft connecting the transmission and propeller is required, but you can extend this shaft if needed.
Okay. Seems pretty straightforward.
The shaft line can also be used to create a steam drill. All you have to do is add the drill extensions and
I have
drill
no desire to make a steam
drill. We have covered the
drill.
main parts of the gearbox, so we'll move on to the other power generation option for steam engines, which is the turbine generator. The turbine generator directly takes in steam to produce energy, which is stored in batteries. The turbine pipe connection connects to the steam pipe. The turbine's middle pieces can be connected next, followed by the turbine generator connection, then the turbine generator itself. This example shows the correct pattern.
Uh-huh. Pretty sure we have that set up right.
The last primary piece to discuss about steam engines is the steam jet. These attach directly to pipes and can provide propulsion in all environments, including space. Compared to other forms of propulsion, they are rather inefficient but are powerful for their compact size. We've covered the general necessities for steam systems, but now we will look at extra parts which can be useful in some cases. First up is the axis shifting gears. This part will allow you to ascend or descend the shaft line, which can be useful for building over other systems or moving a propeller to a more proper level.
Uh-huh. Good to know.
Vents connect to open steam pipes and can be configured to release steam once the pipe pressure reaches a certain threshold. This can be used to limit steam entering pistons or turbines.
Uh-huh.
The steam tank stores steam generated by boilers for later use. These are useful for storing up steam for certain operations such as activated steam jets or having a backup supply of steam in the event that the supplying boiler is destroyed.
Uh-huh. That would be nice to add. I don't have any of those.
The last item to be discussed with steam is the valve. It serves as a steam pipe and can be configured to open or close based on pressure behind it or ahead of it. This can be useful to force the storing of steam into steam tanks or to throttle steam pressure entering certain parts of the steam system.
Huh. Or we just got yoinked into space to do that. Fair enough. Okay. So it looks like we are going to... Well, actually, no, we don't have to rebuild it. We have the wheels here. So we can just continue this engine shaft, I think, out in order to do the propellers. That said, how do we get to large shafts? Can we just plonk them on there? No. Okay. If we use small shafts, can we plonk it on there? No. Because this uses medium engine shafts. Because we're using a medium gearbox, you know, that would make sense. Can we plonk a medium shaft down on here? Yeah, okay. However, this one is not connected because our mirror line is in the wrong place. You know, that would make sense. But we can do this, so good to know. So we could, in theory, just bring this out here like so, I think. Well, actually, we need the transmission, don't we? How do we connect you? Back it up. Okay. That seems roughly right, maybe? Let's find out. There is no solid block for shafts, is there? No. Okay. That's fine. Let's see what happens if we just plonk down some medium propellers on here. I want the 3-meter ones. So if we plonk it down into the water, boat is still too floaty. But in theory, if we told the boat to go forward, I think it would be able to. So let's just check real quick. Let's find out. If I tell it to go forward, will it go forward? It will. Look at that. And it's zooming. Look at that. Mission success. Boat can go forward. Can't go backwards, but it can go forwards. Good deal. This is actually... I didn't expect it to be able to go almost 20 meters per second. So, go us, I guess. We now know that that works. Next order of business. How do we make there not be a gap without having to use mimics and stuff? Is there a... I guess not. Welcome back. We are learning about steam-powered propulsion. And so far, it seems to function. So go us. I don't really like how it looks, but it does function. But for now, I'm not really gonna worry about it, because we're probably going to be adjusting some things in here anyways. I just wanted to see if it works, which it does, so good to know. We might go with this, we might not. We shall see. But it does work, so, you know, that's half the battle right there. But I guess for now, let's add some more armor here. Yeah, the 7-meter propellers would be kind of nice to have. Though I would have to rebuild some of this, because I'm pretty sure to use the 7-meter propellers, you have to use a large gearbox and large cranks, which I don't have right now. Which I reckon I could. There's no reason really not to. Really what I want is to make the boat heavier so that we know where in the water it actually sits once everything that's supposed to be in here is in here. Because, like, it floats super well right now, but I have a sneaking suspicion that once we put all of the functional systems back in it, it is not going to continue to float really well. Also, we do need to make this turret again at some point. Which would be this block right here. I'm just going to put a metal block right here so I can remember if that's where the turret's going to go. I mean, at this rate, we might as well rebuild the particle cannon, too. Yeah, I mean, we might as well get rid of this. We're gonna rebuild the entire thing anyway. Let's just do that. And we'll go from there. But we have a rough idea of what weapons we want where, generally speaking. I do need to remember that we do want to put a whole entire missile battery back here. Which might be grounds for moving this tiny little baby engine somewhere else. The entire point of this is just to be a little backup engine just in case. So we can find a better spot to put that, I reckon. And just like that, we are now right back down to being nothing but a hole. We had a fully functioning boat here about 30 minutes ago. And now it's just a hole with an engine. Yeah, let's get rid of this fuel engine. I don't even really think it's worth prefabbing, but I'll prefab it just to make moving it somewhere else convenient. I think this is a 5x5. So let's do that. Yep, there we go. Capture this. We can put this little redundant engine, like, I don't know. I mean, right there it probably would work. I want it to be a little bit away from the steam engine. But I also don't want it interfering with any of the guns. So I guess right here can be fine for now. We'll have to redo the exhaust on it. Where are our hole pipes? There they are. So cylinder. So one goes right there. Is that the right orientation? No, it's not. There we go. So like that. Then like that. And the other cylinder. That, like that. There we go. And it's like it was never even back here. Nobody has to know. The reason we did that is because we originally had a missile system back here, and it was pretty cool. So I want to put missiles back here again, but make them a little bit better this time than they were before. And of course, that also reminds us we need to actually build some ammo storage. Let's just maybe do that real quick right back here. Heavy armored up. This should prove appropriate for the time being. And obviously we're going to need more. But for right now, this will work. Oh. The multiple mirrors now. That's nice. Cool. Now I have a little bit more ammo to work with. And right back here will be where the missiles go. Like so. I guess I can go ahead and make the missiles now. I see not much reason not to. The next question is, what kind of missiles do we want to go with? Because on the old version of this boat, we use normal medium missiles. But we also did that because we had substantially bigger size constraints than we do now. So we could get away with using the larger missiles. Or we could be evil and do huge missiles, but I think that's a little bit unnecessary. I think large missiles would be fine. Okay, so they don't connect like that. Good to know. But we can just plonk them down like this, and then we'll just have to run the missile connectors. Which is fine. And then metal above it. Like so. Well, actually, no, not like so. Hold on. Like so. And then run another line down this way. And that will connect everything together. Needless to say, we will need substantially more ammo to do this than what we have right now, because each one of these missiles is going to cost way too much. But you know what? That's okay. All is fair in the name of Peppermint Mark II. Uh-oh, that's not how that connects. This is suddenly getting very expensive very quickly, though, gotta say. Kinda impressed with our ability to make this ridiculously expensive. But you know what? It's whatever. We might scrap this whole idea. But in the meantime, we're gonna commit to the bit. For no reason other as it will be funny. You know what? That's half the battle. Next order of business is, how do we make these not suck? I guess probably radar seeker. Probably pure explosive if I had to guess. Turn up the about time. And you know what? Let's just get something to shoot these at, why don't we? Oh, now boat doesn't float as good. That's a little bit more like how I expected it to be. Okay, so let's see. Let's spawn a boat. Turn its guns off. Then we gotta get me down here. Make sure I'm sitting in the right position. And we shoot the missiles, which we forgot to put a staggered fire add-on for. That's scary. I'll tell you what, though. As ridiculously expensive, but it also just deletes enemies, just like that. But you know, good to know. We also don't have identify friend or foes on here, so hold on. Save it. Delete it. Life is good again. Yeah, I guess reinforced wood is a thing that exists now. I forget about that sometimes. Also, I think we're gonna not go with the large missiles. Let's just, how much do these cost? Way too much. Material cost 96. That's actually, I mean, that's not great. That's almost 100 materials per missile times 16. So that's 1600 materials per volley. So maybe let's not do that, as a matter of fact. There are more sensible ways to go about this, I think. As silly as it would be to have just a massive barrage of huge missiles, I think I'm good, actually. I think we can be a little bit more sensible with this. And just go from there. Well, not necessarily a missile boat, but just something for stupidly long range. This boat used to be 100% fully functional, completely done, and it was about probably 6 blocks smaller in every direction. And it worked, but also I had all of the components so jammed into here that it had no armor whatsoever. So I just decided, you know what, screw it, let's just go back and make the boat bigger so that we can actually put armor on it. And that's pretty much where we're at now. We have stripped all of the internal components out of the boat and made the hull substantially bigger. So effectively, this is just a brand new boat from the boat we were working with about half an hour ago. But now I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I do here to compensate for the fact I made it so much bigger? Because, like, we have the extra space, so I feel like we should do something with it. Yeah, medium missiles is what we were using on here before. Medium missiles is probably still the play. Let's be a little bit more responsible here. Get rid of these. Let's just run some medium missiles through here. Which is still going to be really expensive, but a little bit more sensible. A little bit not completely ridiculously resource intensive. Something like this should be a little bit better. And of course, we gotta run the connectors over here. And then while we're at it, plonk on a staggered fire. You can turn it all the way up to 5 seconds. No thanks. I think 1 second is fine. Then friend or foe. Yada yada yada. There are missile transmitters now? When did they add these? God, they have done so much since I last put a lot of time into this game. I'll tell you what, I'm certainly not building like someone that has 800 plus hours in this game. But that's what happens when you take a break from it for 2 years. It'd just be like that sometimes. And hence that's the purpose of the Great Retrofitting, pretty much, is I haven't played From the Depths in about 2 years, and all of my builds either are half finished or just aren't very good. So I'm just going through all of my almost 100 saved designs and just either fixing them if they were done and just don't really work anymore, or completing them if they're half-finished projects, which most of them have been. So we made some ridiculously long missiles, which is fine. Ridiculously long missiles for a ridiculously good time. So, I believe once again, we hit it with the radar seeker. We're gonna put one fin, no, not the tank, one fin right up at the top. APM guidance for good measure. Then there should be a signal processor, right? Yeah, so let's hit a signal processor on it, and then fill it up with a ton of explosives. We don't need 2 APM guidance, because, by the way, one turn will do fine. We need a regulator, though. That's true. We need a regulator. So, slap a regulator on there. And then... Okay, no. Let's redo this. APM guidance, swap that out for a 1 turn. Then, put the warheads in. Then, do... the... What are we looking for? Ah, my brain just blanked. Definitely anti-ship. Pretty much this entire boat is being built to just be blow up big things from far away. Relatively far away, anyway. So we need more fuel. Let's do 2 fuel tanks. We don't need the 1 turn back here anymore. I'll put the secondary torpedo on there. That's a good idea. You're the 1 turn. We don't need the 1 turn. We do, however, need more fins. We forgot the regulator. I knew we were forgetting something. Okay, 1 fins is fine. Regulator. And then let's go to the variable tester. The ramp time. Let's put like a 0.4 or so start delay on it. So that should be fine. Let's plonk me back up here. Put down a weapon controller. So we don't have to keep moving around. Save that. Slap down something to shoot at. Turn its guns off. Then let's see what these do. they do in fact hit things. So, you know, we got that going for us. Of course, I did turn on, I went to the config and turned off detection because I wanted to test a different vehicle that is so old that I built it before detection systems came out, and I just wanted to see if it worked without doing any building to it. So already we have determined that this missile volley can do pretty good damage. Let's wait for it to stop shooting. Also, thank you for the follow, Hellcat. I appreciate it. Let's just shoot them in the air and see how far they can travel. Shouldn't we be getting stats about this? I could have swore that's how it used to work, is it would give you a bunch of stats about the missiles when you were spectating them. Regardless, it can go a very far away. So now, okay, there we go. So yeah, it's traveled nearly 4,000 meters. I think that can do the job perfectly fine. Well, let's actually spawn an enemy all the way out here. We'll turn the spawn distance to like 50 meters in front of the camera. Turn the camera around so that it's facing the right way. Then I don't want to spectate that. I want to shoot the missiles at the thing that is 4 kilometers away and see what happens. There we go. Yeah, I will say I'm pretty impressed. This can travel a pretty good ways. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot more that still needs to be done with this. It is nowhere near ready. I mostly just wanted to see if the missiles can actually get this far out, and they can, so that's good. And the reload time doesn't seem all that terrible either, which is nice. The missiles aren't going to be the main weapon anyways, so all in all, I am pretty happy with that. I'm going to not caps lock anymore so I can actually shoot the whole volley without it locking me onto a new missile every time it shoots one. It's not really fair to be testing against a Kalmar because I can already tell you, it's way more expensive than this thing is. At one point, before we, you know, expanded the ship in every direction, it was roughly the same cost as a Kalmar. Now how are we looking? Oh yeah, it's way more expensive. Okay. That's fine. So, the missiles work. That's good. I'm gonna put a little bit of armor around it. Just for good measure. I get what they're going for, but this music is so over the top for from the depths. You know what? Whatever. It works. It's fine. It still have slip beams. That is still a thing that they added to the game at some point a long time ago. There we go. That's a little bit better. We have missiles. They do shoot, amongst other things. So that is progress. We really do need to just expand the superstructure out, though. Make it look nicer, now that we have more room to be working with. Let's just build it out a little bit. We have plenty of more space now, so we might as well. That's a little bit of a more acceptable size for it. Make the top of the boat look slightly less empty now. Who knew if you substantially increase the size of the hull, keeping the original superstructure on it doesn't really look that good. Little known fact. Windows are not under glass anymore, are they? Unless they aren't, I just missed it. Yeah, there they are. They were hiding it from me. But that's a little bit better. We can keep the beam metal beam. So it's gonna be changed for a 3-meter one. Like so. Get rid of that. Also, I guess we could, in theory, keep this the same. And then just open up underneath it. That's not a bad idea. Give a little bit more room to walk around. There we go. That's a little better. Moderately, at least. Yeah, I mean, I probably will be putting side guns on this at some point. If I do, they're probably going to be really minor. What's funny is I actually originally had side guns on it way back when, and then I scrapped them because they were just so terrible in performance that I just haven't felt like it. This is not the first project I've worked on since I've been back. This is the first boat that I've worked on since I've been back. The other two things I've worked on since I've come back are both hovercrafts, which are in various degrees of functionality right now. but they do hover, and they are relatively tiny. I'm not used to having this much space to build with. I mean, both of these need a lot of work done to them too, still. But they're the two main things I've been working on, and I was like, you know what? I would like to work on something that doesn't fly for a little bit. I've gotten a little bit sick of flying things. Mostly just because the PIDs with them have been really frustrating. But they both still have all of their own problems that I still need to sort out. I've improved both of them a lot since where they were when I quit, but they still need more work. Also, that does not go there. That does not go there. And I mean, I still have all of these other folders of crap that I need to go and sort through at some point. There's a ton of stuff here. I figured I would start small, focus in the things in this subfolder, and just go from there. And the goal is just like work on, 2 or 3 vehicles at a time, and then once they're in a state where I'm happy with them, I can move on to like a different set of 2 or 3. Because I don't want to get burnt out on whatever I'm building. And I think that's part of my issue back when I quit from the depths, is that I was putting way too much time into singular projects and not really getting anything. Like, I just got burnt out on it. But now I'm back and I have the itch to go through and make all of my old crap better. So that's just kind of what I've been working on. So, we'll see how it goes. For now, though, this is already a pretty decent improvement over what we used to have. I think I still have the old version under... Yeah. This is the old version of the boat we're working on. So we have made it a bit bigger. But, like, the superstructure is all the same. And the superstructure looked appropriate when it was on a boat that was this small. But everything is so jam-packed in here that we have just the layer of metal and nothing else. And so what would happen is we would have a really decent alpha strike, and then it would just evaporate to even the slightest amount of damage. So that's why I thickened it up a bit. And we're just gonna have to go from there with it, pretty much. Also, wow, this is a really old version. Because things are all sorts of messed up in here, oh boy. But let's get rid of the old one. So that's what I had to start with back when I started with this project a couple days ago. So already I'd say we've done pretty good at making this less bad. We don't have mirror mode on. Let's fix that real quick. Put a new door in. Wherever doors are nowadays, I guess they'd be under decorations, huh? That would make sense. There we go. I guess we can get rid of all of this as well. Fill this in. Which I might go through and delete all of the alloy and make it out of reinforced wood again. But for now, we do have this. And then... I'm not going to continue that back down. Unless... Well, what I can do is get rid of that. So there's more walking around space up here, because that's kind of important to have. That's lightweight alloy. That's not what we want to be building with. And this is what the front of the thing was, which doesn't look great, but it'll work for the time being. Yeah, no, there was too much going on there. So now it's a little bit more to work with. And hopefully, whatever we end up doing with this thing will go a little bit better than the last one, now that we have more room inside of it to do stuff with. That's the goal anyway. We'll see what actually comes of it. I'm gonna spawn a new one of these though, just because the damage on the metal is annoying me. Well, that's a little better. Get rid of this. Just so that way this looks all nice and spiffy. And so we got the steam engine going, because this is the same steam engine as the old boat. We do, however, still need more ammo storage. So maybe let's do another one, like, up in here. Because I can already tell you, we don't have anywhere near enough ammo on this thing to do everything we want it to do. And you know what? That's okay. We'll make it work. Honestly, I don't even think 2,400 is going to be enough. That's a little bit better. I guess while we're here, we can build the guns. And then go from there. So the original idea was to have cram cannon here, which I probably will still go with. But the Tetris on the old one was really not good. If I can remember what I'm looking for here. There we go. No, I don't want that. There we go. It's gonna be a 3x3. I know there's not an AI here. Shut up. Let's just beam ourselves up to the top. Gonna want the barrel to be up here, most likely. That should be fine. Then connectors. There we go. There's a sensor. I'm hiding it from me. Also, yeah, I suddenly realized that beaming up here was a bad idea. We should have done it with individual blocks. So that way we can go through and replace each of them. And then we go down here. Connectors. Which we can probably replace with gauge increasers later. Actually, yeah, that's not what I wanted either. Backspace lets you hover things without connections. Huh. It's convenient. So, starting to realize that maybe 3x3 wasn't the best idea for a cram cannon. I might actually have to make this an APS after all. Which isn't exactly what I wanted to do. But I probably could. And you can make a 3x3 cram cannon. It's just not going to be a particularly good one. I mean, I do have the room here that I could make it 5x5 if I wanted to. And that would give us the room we need to work with. So yeah, let's make this 5x5. Get rid of that. Get rid of these. Same down here. Get rid of these. So that we have a 5x5 to work with. So 1, 2, 3. That's good. 1, 2, 3. That's good. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of those. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's a little bit better. And 1, 2, 3. Wow, that really does kind of not give us a lot of room up here, but that's fine. Especially because we don't know, we don't need it this far up here. I know Cram Tetris as of a long time ago. So hit it with the compactors, which we're not editing the turret. There we go. That's all the way up. Do it up to here. Down. That. Do we want to keep up the trend and just have this be pure explosive since the previous was pure explosive? You know what? Why not? It'll be a funny prank. Yeah, I don't know why I deleted the deck up there because I don't want to put anything there. I guess we can put a couple of frags on here, not a lot. That should be fine. Then we need some gauge increasers on it, though. Let's just run the barrel out real quick. And we hit it with some normal barrels. Run it way far out here. I'm not really worried about recoil, so that should be an issue. Let's run it way on far out, which should be fine. And I guess we really don't need gauge increasers then if it's already going to be that big. Unless that's a visual issue. It's the gauge. I guess it's the right gauge. Shouldn't it be smaller than this without any gauge increasers on it? Am I going insane? I could have swore the minimum size of cram cannons was less than 1,000 millimeters, but maybe I'm just being dumb. Which is entirely possible. Oh, you're supposed to put compactors in there, huh? I guess so. Interesting. Then we need to slap that on there. That should be fine. So you should, in theory, do a decent amount of damage. Let's just, more explodey is pretty good. I'm just gonna see what this does real quick. Guess we'll just spawn another Kalmar for good measure, since that's what we've been shooting at up to this point. And its guns off. Then let's give it a second, make sure that we can line up our shot here, and then. Okay, so as it stands, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it also has a pretty decent rate of fire. So good to know. Definitely tweaking to be done there. Because more explodey would be more good. I mean, that's a decent amount of explodey as it is, but yeah. More explodey would be more good. More accurate would also be more good. We should not be missing shots at that close of a range. What's the inaccuracy? 0.28. I know I can use a fire control computer. I mostly just want to test this one, but because I know what the missiles do. I'm actually not 100% sure how we Tetris the contactors in. They have to be connected to packers. So I guess we just have to alternate like this. Which is fine, we can do that. So something like that should pack it up fine enough. That increases it to 450. Let's maybe put like a few more in here. Let's not make a reload time. 12 seconds. It's not so bad. This is something we can work with, I reckon. Let's see what it does now. No, we don't want God mode on. We want to turn that on. Let's see now. How does this new cram do? Pretty explodey. Goes boom fairly decently, I reckon. Takes some chunks off of it. I dig it. That's a decent little bit of damage. It cannot rotate, though. Interesting, though. So it's getting caught on something. What are you getting caught on that's keeping you from rotating? There shouldn't be anything that would let you get caught. I'm trying to rotate. Unless I'm missing something really obvious, which is entirely possible. Yeah, you should be able to rotate there fine. So why can't... Oh, because I'm controlling the... Okay. That's just me being stupid. Never mind. You have to put the chair down here to actually make it do that. I knew that. I know things. There we go. Now it rotates fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's better. So let's maybe put like 1 or 2 page increments or something. I don't want it to be too particularly big. 1 or 2 would be fine. Be even more fine if I actually selected the turret. But that alone already makes it have a ridiculous... Okay, so that's a little bit better. I guess if we're going to be sticking things out of the hole here, then we might as well put more packers on. Or compactors, there we go. So that should do the job decently well enough. I don't know why we've decided for the Marauder to be our enemy choice here, but here we are. Gun shoot. It works well enough. I mean, a 15-second reload is a little painful, but that's about as good as you're gonna get with the Grand Cannon. Yeah, you know, I reckon that's fine, actually. That is a justifiable amount of damage. Probably not as good against metal enemies, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, though, gun shoot. That's what I wanted to do. I reckon I'm happy with that. And now I have to go through the whole process of making it look pretty. And that in of itself is a whole challenge. Actually, let's go back to the hole and fill the deck up. So it should be able to really rotate like this, not like that. Actually, yeah, it should be able to just fine. Yeah, that should be able to rotate without any problems. Let's make sure right quick. Okay, that's fine. Back to turret capping. So, first order of business. Gotta make sure But the holes are covered. This is lightweight alloy. That's not what we want. We want metal. There. So, how do we want to go about this? We can have it back to here and still have it rotate really. I don't know if I want to go that far back, honestly. Something like this probably is fine. But a tiny turret cap looks stupid on a big gun. That's the other issue. That's a wedge. I want a wedge. Nah, we can do better than that with the shaping. We gotta make it look interesting. Yeah, heavy armor across here is probably a good idea. Just for a little bit of added security. I guess what we can do is maybe get out of block, make it a little more circular. Ish, anyway. Because there isn't really a good way for us to do that. Like, get the 2 meter slopes here. I mean, I guess we could do it like this, but then it's not going to be symmetrical, which isn't great. Yeah, no. I guess having it like this would work fine. Make the front a little bit better looking. I can get behind that. You know what? I dig it. That works. Sure. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think there's anything really on the side left I want to do. We will go with that for now. We have the missiles. We have the cram cannon. Now the big money question here is, do we want to do what we did with the original Peppermint and have a particle cannon here? Or do we want to just make life simple and maybe put another cram cannon down on the front? Because honestly, I could just go for putting another one of those on here. That honestly might be better. Ditch the entire particle cannon idea. Because honestly, on the old Peppermint, the particle cannon did look really out of place Like, I can admit that. We spawned another of the same one. That's not what we were going for. Oh, well, we don't have the old peppermint anymore. Never mind. Disregard that. We accidentally saved the new peppermint over the old peppermint's file, so no more old peppermint. And that's fine. We didn't need that anyway. It is a relic of the past that did not function very well. I'm gonna say, let's do another cram cannon. Do another cram cannon up here. And then what we could do, because something I've been meaning to do for a little bit, is maybe make some use of some simple weapons, because it's kind of a crime that we've never really used. I mean, yeah, simple weapons aren't good. I admit that. I understand that that is the case. But I do kind of want to do that. Let's adjust the shaping on here a little bit, then maybe what we can do is that, 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 have this come around here a little bit, like so, come around there. I'm only pretending I know what I'm doing here. Worry about it that much. That's not what we're looking for. And I'm just thinking, you know, that's a dangerous thing for me to do, but I am thinking. Hit it with a little bit of simple weapons. Something like this. I'm gonna not put it here. Is it bigger than it claims it is? Look at that, it is. Cool. But something like this could work pretty well, I think. Actually, yeah, maybe a smaller one would be better. And we could put these here. We'd have to redo some of the shaping a little bit, but that wouldn't be so bad. What we can do is get rid of that and do a bit of slopes like this. And that should be fine. Just pop it there. Again, we want metal, not alloy. Actually, will this interfere with its rotation at all? If it doesn't, we can do a little bit of that. Which does look kind of cool. That right, we could just do it like this. Okay. Have it stick out a little bit less. Let's do that. Then kind of just curve this back down. Actually, let's just... Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the to-do list, most of which we're probably not going to get to tonight. But I do plan to add a lot of things to this. We just got to get to that point for it. And we can get rid of that. Then do 2 meter there. Make it look a little bit neater. That's a bit better. And honestly, I could put that one flat gun as I pick out back here. Just for fun. Something like that. This one looks better. Not really. I like how this one looks more. So this can just kind of exist back here. It's not going to be used that much, and I'm okay with that. Also you. I want an end piece on the barrel. Even if realistically it is not necessary. I want to slap one of those on it. There we go. Just for the sake of making it look a little bit better. Honestly, once I build the second cram cannon here, we could get away with another one of the simple weapons up here too. So for now, let's make cram part 2, which we will once again need to widen up to a 5x5. Which actually, no, that's fine. We can keep the net there. So we do everything we've just done, but again, this cram cannon is going to be slightly weaker than the other one, and I'm okay with that. Put the firing piece up here, go from there. Then we hit it with the connectors. Like so. And then we do our same old good old Tetris of the hackers. Move it around like so. So we've got everything angled the way we want it. Fun. There we go. I would make a sub object and copy paste it. The only reason I'm not is because it's smaller and I don't feel like cutting off the top. It's just like that, we already have it set up again. And we just drag barrels out of it, and voila, we have gun mark 2. That said, I will actually go up here and prefab the turret cap, because I like how the turret cap looks. And that way we can keep it consistent in how it is looking. So, alright. Length 7, height 3. There we go. Then we just move on over to this one. And save. So there we go. Clear. Erase the blocks in the bounding box. Load compartment hand cap. And make sure it's centered correctly. Looks like it is. There we go. So we have the elevation barrels. In that case, we just need the normal barrels. And it's like so. And just like that, we should be all good to go. This could use more barrels though, because the inaccuracy on it, not great. I have not really messed around with mimics at all. At some point I will, but I'm already having to put so much time into making things actually function that I want to save mimics to be a future problem after I get things actually working. But eventually I will mimic and deco things. I just don't feel like it yet. Not quite at the point in From the Depths where I want to go through that extra effort, I guess, is the best way to put it. Okay. So I like what we have going so far. We have the missiles on the back. We have things up and around the front that do stuff. Big shocker. Let's actually go down here and armor up down here a bit. Might as well use heavy armor for good measure, because why not? We have the resources to do it, I guess. That should be sufficiently protected for a while, I reckon. Yeah, I mean, once I get back into the swing of playing the game, I think that I'll use them more. But for the time being, while I'm just now getting back into it all, I'm holding off on it. But it's definitely something that I want to learn and do decently. I guess I don't feel like it quite yet, pretty much. That's about the only excuse I got for it. Just don't quite feel like it. These shield projectors are still here. We might as well gut the shields too and start those over from scratch as well. I have a little bit of free space right here. What do I want to do with this? I'm going to definitely put something in here. It's going to be a question as to what that ends up being. Also, how floaty are we right now? Do we float at all? We sink like a brick. Okay, good to know. That's fine. There are things we can do about that. Not things I'm going to do right now, but there are things we can do about that. Yeah, I do read the Reddit a lot, and I've been in the Discord pretty much since the Discord was first made, though I don't talk in there at all. I might at some point, because I did see the bounty get posted in there for a new Deepwater Guard craft, and I was like, you know, maybe I should try and build something. We'll see. Probably won't, but you never know. Anyway, let's we're just gonna cut this off, really. Not quite like that. Right off like this. And then let's actually start putting water pumps in this thing. That might help some of the issue we've got going on here with it not being able to float, is that we just have no water pumps whatsoever. We've evolved past the need for water pumps, apparently. Want some down in here. Duplicated pump. Okay, get rid of that. Yeah, eventually I need to actually section this off into rooms so that we can get the water pump things working correctly. I mean, that's an improvement. It does actually float marginally now. Not a lot, but a little bit. I would like to avoid having to use hydrofoils to make this thing work. I want to be able to float on its own. Which, of course, is kind of a big ask. But that's the goal with it, at least. I don't want to have to depend on downwards facing thrusters or anything. So I guess we're good to just wall this off as well now. Of course means going through this whole process. And I guess this can be its own separate room again. Of course, I need this to be 3 meters. 3 meters. I don't think we need this metal here anymore. So this should be its own room now for us to put water pumps here into. There we go. We float a bit. Good for us. Floaty is floating. Actually, what we could do is bring this wall in a block and then put a whole pipe there. That would probably work better. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring the wall in a block. Like so. Hit it with a 3 meter, bring it down, then we get rid of the steam pipe and replace it with a full pipe. And This should still be getting steam into it. Ooh. So now we have that going for us. And then we can wall this off of its own room now as well. We're making it work here, chat. We've got something going for us. Oh, we didn't want to delete that. And then hit it with a water pump in here. And there we go. Now we're pumping water out of here. Let's see. The G-Man Empire, welcome out to the stream. We are building boats in some capacity or another. Oh, I forgot to put armor here. It's a problem. There we go. And there's one other thing I need to do to these turret cats that I have neglected to do, which is something that I do with almost every turret, I think, which is get rid of this block. Blocks, heavy armor. That can go back there. I'm gonna put a slope here for good measure. And then AI, connector, receiver. And then slap a rangefinder on the top. Doesn't look great, but it's convenient. I try to do that with most of my turrets. Just for good measure. So, heavy armor, cloak, block, connector, receiver, and a rangefinder. There we go. Of course, we killed the AI. We don't have any AI on here anymore. But that way, once we get the AI set up, it will already be there. That should be alright for now. Boat is good. Good as boat. Boat has guns. Let's just plonk down a super rudimentary AI in a random spot on here. Just to see what it looks like with all of the weapons active at once. So I'm kind of curious. Honestly, the hard part is finding a spot to build the AI. I guess we can build it above this engine. For the time being, anyway. After all, the entire point of it is just to see the guns all shoot at once. So we hit it with that. We hit it with transmitter. The protection components don't matter right now because I did the whole thing of turning detection off for the time being while I work on this. Okay. Let's see what happens when we give it something to shoot at. Of course, we're gonna be cheeky and turn its guns off, because we're just evil like that. I do need to put the fuse on the second ram. I forgot to do that. And we don't have the... We don't have the APS shells set up for simple weapons, so we need to do that as well. But that seemed to work pretty effectively. I can say I'm happy with how that worked. How's the ammo look? The ammo looks alright. But of course that's how the ammo looks with designer mode resources on. Who knows how it's gonna look when we actually have limited resources and all. So I guess while we have this just empty space up here, we can plunk this down. We're just gonna slap hash in it because we're lazy. Can those guns elevate that high to do AA stuff? I guess if they can, then we can do that. Well, that's a problem. If this is 130 millimeters, is this shell too big to fit in? 130 millimeters, 130 millimeters. It should fit in, so why do you not want to pull from it? Oh. Because you have to do that. You have to apply it? What? What? Since when do you have to do that? Okay. And we go down here. Yeah, to do. Let's see. AI. On one weapon controllers. Replace that block. Now it's AI controlled. There we go. Now they work. Eventually I'm going to go through and make different AI for each weapon system so we can actually get them to target stuff. but just not right for this second. So they should, in theory, all shoot now. There we go, they do shoot now. Cool. I can't really tell if they're doing much of anything in terms of damage, but every little extra bit counts for something. Yeah, that works. I don't know how effective these are gonna be. Dude, CIFS. I can try it, but I don't think that it's gonna work particularly well just as the two of them. We can plunk these down back here. And priority. You will have a priority above that of the local weapon controller. Yeah. Priority. Turn that up above the local weapon controller. We're going to need to use a different shell if we're going to do that, because what we have on here now is not remotely going to do it. So we'll just do pure black against. And we'll swap out a gunpowder casing for a timed fuse. That should be fine. And then just for the sake of testing, I'll just slap the munition warners on here. This is not going to be permanent. I just want to make sure that it does the thing. And if it does the thing, then life is good. Then we'll put like some extra ones up here really quick, just to see. I guess we can just plonk them down right here, because the entire purpose of it is just to test. Make sure it do what it needs to do. Alright, let's see what that does. Turn God mode on. And then Go way back here. I know the smoker has a lot of missiles. What else has missiles that we can shoot at? Ideally, a lot of missiles. Coyote has missiles. We'll spawn the coyote. We'll also give it God mode just so it shoots a ton of missiles and we see what happens. It does seem to be shooting some of the missiles down. Not a lot of them, but some of them. Yeah, it can't really do much against, like, swarms of missiles. But it can destroy some of them. I'm glad you like boat. It sure is the boat of all. Let's turn God mode off on the coyote, just to be mean to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with how things are coming along so far. It's got something going for us. Let's see what we can do against the smoker. And we'll also make the smoker invincible. Because the smoker has, like, a nuke. Alright, good to know. The black shells do not have good stats. That answers that question. If they couldn't take that down, then they're definitely not going to be able to take that nuke down. But they certainly are trying. It's a valiant effort. Not very surprising. Okay. Well, that works for now. How did it not stay in there? But at least we know that it functions the way it's supposed to. We've got that going for us. Because sometimes, I honestly can't say that it's going to do that. There we go. And we didn't have mirror mode on. Bang, bang. There we go. So that is good for now. That AI is just going to sit there for the time being. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's actually block this off real quick and put more air pumps in. Try and get this thing floating a little better. Of course, it would help if I actually build it up to the top. go. Now let's see how buoyant we are. Not bad. We're a little bit front heavy, but that can be fixed in due time. What's important is that we float. And of course we need to handle propulsion on all that stuff, but I'll save that for later. Okay. I also can kind of rethink some of the decorations in here now that they are not necessarily in the correct spots anymore now that this room is way bigger. Well, that's another problem for future us. There also, shouldn't there be a staircase down in here somewhere? What's directly below this? The engine room? Yeah, we can make a staircase down at some point. Make this have a whole interior that you can walk around and all that jazz. Also, we need to block this off. Lots of stuff that we are forgetting to do today. But you know, kinda how it is. That's a little better. And then we can armor up between them here. Like so. Uh-oh. Just deleted something. Delete the friend repo. Let's put that back on there. That's kind of important. Just a little bit important. There we go. And then these are all 3 fingers. That's a little better. And this free space. Air pumps. More air pumps. Check the stats of the boat. Sure, I can tell you it's going to be way too expensive for what it is. Weapon usage 2,000 materials per minute. That's not great. We actually have enough ammo to sustain it, though. That's a surprise. I figured we were going to need a lot more ammo than this. But I guess we are alright so far. Once we had more systems in, it might get worse, but so far, not too bad. Good to know. I mean, we're gonna have to have a lot of resources on here because burning through 2,300 materials per minute is not great. That's kind of expensive. But you know what? We'll see how it goes. That's probably fine. It's probably no big deal. Excuse me. Are we using 10 million material per second? I don't know if we can afford that. Why are we using 10 million material per second here? Pardon me? Oh. We can change alloy to reinforced wood. Let's do that. Let's replace all of the light alloy with the reinforced wood. That does not look right at all. I guess it is, but... why does it look so janky? What about flag? Huh? Huh. That just looks weird. I'm assuming there's something wrong with the orientation of it all. But I don't know what. Okay, so it is all sideways. So we're gonna have to go through and do it all by hand anyways. Oh well. Guess we can get to work on that. It should relatively be all 4-meter beams. So I guess this is the correct way to orient it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, can't do that. There we go. That's a start. We got it. Problem solved. Nope, that needs to be 4 meters. I knew that. There we go. That's 3 meters. There we go. Then this is all 4 meters. That's a little better. And then 3 meters. And that's all 3 meters. Except for this one, that is inexplicably 4 meters. But you know what? It's fine. It's whatever. We're making it work, right? Getting it all fixed up. There we go. That's a little better. I mean, it still doesn't look great, but it looks a lot better than that janky mess that it was earlier. There we go. Have we just made the version 100? Yes, we have. Go us, version 100 of this boat. The terrible things we've done to it. I feel... Oh, we have to go up here still. Not quite done yet. There we go. Okay, that's that crisis averted. And I think this is a 4 meter. Nope. 3 meter? Yep, there we go. Crisis averted. Things are good again. Go us. Nope, still not done. We have more to do. Give me here? Yep. There we go. Now it's all oriented the right way, pretty much. Yeah. There we go. Okay, that should be fine. Let's actually, let's make it shoot some stuff. How much do you cost? 136k. What's an enemy that costs 136k? Gopher. Sure. Kill. Make sure we have, let's not have God mode turned on. We still have shields on here. Well, the Pilferer hurts a lot, but our missiles hurt it just as badly. Honestly, it kind of seems like the missile battery does most of the heavy lifting here. Actually, we didn't do that bad against it. Our little floaty boaty did something. With the power of just ridiculous amounts of missiles, I guess. Can we kill a plunger? I wouldn't think we'd be able to. Also, it's one further away. Let's go 1,000 meters. Can we kill a plunger? I don't think we should be able to kill a plunger, but I am certainly going to try and find out. Ooh, that hurts. Ow. I haven't seen that screen effect in a long time. How are we doing? Are we killing things? We are messing it up with our missiles. But I don't think this is a winnable fight. Also kind of want to just die. There we go. That way we can actually see things again. Missiles are not really maneuverable enough for close range stuff, it looks like. But we are messing it up. Where are we at? 89%. So in theory, we wouldn't even be getting despawned if we were in the campaign. All good for us. We managed to mess it up, I guess. The power of just ridiculous amounts of missile spam compensating for all of the other weapons just being okay. missile spam solves all problems. Especially plunder ones. I mean, he's still alive, but technically so are we. Uh-oh. I guess at this rate, the campaign would probably hit us with sinking and despawn us. So we do need to make it a little bit better at floating after a hole gets blown in it. But hey, technically, we managed to kill a plunger. So that's something. And by the time we're done with this, we'll probably cost as much as a plunger, but still. I'll take it. That works. Big boat die indeed. Hydrate? Why would I do that? Who drinks water? What I will do is I think put another layer of armor in here just to reinforce things a little bit. I'm gonna do the reinforced decking instead of metal, just so we have some buoyancy to work with. Like so. This should, in theory, keep the front end a little bit better at surviving when we need it to. Hopefully, at least. Jokes aside, though, thank you for the hydrate. Welcome to the stream. Indeed, Otter is attempting to make boats. How well it's going is up for debate. Buoyancy plus 13. Buoyancy minus. So it's not as buoyant as wood, but it is still buoyant. So it should be helping us lift up out of the water a little. It's not really, but it's trying. I'm still really hoping to not have to depend on hoping we don't have to depend on cheese to be able to keep this thing floating, pretty much, is my main concern. I don't want to have to be having to do that. Somehow we just made the buoyancy worse. And I know how we did. That's fine. We're good. I know what I did. Water pump there. And then what's the beam? We'll just hit it with this. And then we put another air pump in here after we beam this up. And this should help us float a little bit better. That picks up the front end a little bit, but still really just not enough. I just need the front end to be slightly less heavy. But yeah, let's rip this out and maybe try that plate armor. I guess it does go on like that, huh? We're still just not buoyant enough up here. Guess what I could do if I want to be really cheeky and give us a nice big weak spot is get rid of some of this and make it wood. That's not right. That might help our buoyancy issue a little bit, question mark? It's really not. It's really doing a whole load of nothing. I mean, I could, but I'm trying to avoid doing that because it just feels really cheesy. I'd like it to be able to float on its own. Make the bottom alloy, yeah, that should probably work. Let's lift this up so that we can actually strip the bottom out. This should work decently well, I hope. Well, we'll try this and see what it does. No, we don't want to be doing that. That's in fact not what we're going for. Yeah, let's see about just making all of this alloy and see what that does. Hopefully nothing too abhorrent. There we go. So we're just gonna use the fill tool and then go back through and manually add stuff. But yeah, that fills us without issue all the way up to here. So that's fine. A little bit more expensive, but whatever. Whatever. But now it's time for the moment of truth. How well does it float? A very marginal improvement. It's a little bit of improvement, but yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and do it. So let's just do it in here. Water. Square, huge propeller. Walk it down under there. Then control pitch. Control pitch. Then we go on over to our lovely, wonderful AI and hit it with a PID, pitch controller, big set points. Does that activate those? No. Because I guess it just isn't going to want to do anything until I tell it how to move. Let's do that real quick. Give it circle should be fine. No altitude, no roll. I guess we can have it broadside. I don't entirely want it broadside like that. But we'll just go with that. Now it should, in theory. Nope. No, we want 0-degree pitch, not -45. There. There we go, now we're actually pitching up a bit. Alright, just turn the gain way up on that. Turn the curve off. That's a bit better. And I guess we'll go ahead and just do the Well, now we can't because there's missiles in the way. Oops. I was gonna say we could do this. I mean, I guess we can drag them all the way over here. That's a bit silly. Let's just use normal propellers, I think. Well, no, let's try and drag this over. We went through the whole issue of learning how to shift gears. And we use a small one. We need a medium one. This is a medium. Okay, it has to be connected to a shaft, I guess. No, we need to put the shafts here. I'm just being dumb. We'll make a flag at some point. So can we just stack these together? We can. Good to know. And then we bring the shafts back here. Like so. Drag it back here. Gonna get rid of the metal, unfortunately. Then shift gears. Go here. Shift gear here. Then this is just where we're gonna have to put it through. And you know what? That's okay. Bang. And medium 5-meter propellers. Bang. That's a ridiculous amount of forward momentum. I like it. Why are we able to go 33 meters per second? Excuse me? Also, oh boy. Ooh. Hey, PID. We need to have a little chat, buddy. Let's, turn the gain way down here. Have I set up my own flag and map marker and flag yet? I did a long time ago, way back in the day. I don't think I still have it. I'll make a new one at some point. That's a little better. This thing has no reason to be going as fast as it does. But you know what? If it wants to go that fast, more power to it, I guess. I mean, 30 meters a second just seems so... Oh, I didn't give it turning thrusters. Uh-oh. Hold on. Stop. I have recognized the issue. Why are you still going? I told you to stop. No. I know the issue. I didn't give you a gearbox. Gearbox. For transmission, that's what you need. And then we hit it with that. There we go. Then you can turn on and off as need be. That's better. Now I need to give it turning thrusters, because it has a whole load of none, which is kind of a problem. Should we give it a rudder? Yeah. Do I want to give it a rudder? No. No. Now it can do what it needs to do. That's better. The same speed as your battleship? Fair enough. It just seems like a lot for a boat that's this big. But maybe that's just me. And let's throw another helper at it. I need to get rid of those shields. Those shields are completely unnecessary. And also, there's just a whole shield. I hate it when that happens. I mean, I'm glad it works. I don't entirely like that pretty much all of our damage is coming from missiles. It feels like the rest of the components just aren't that important then. I don't know, whatever. It kills things. I should be happy with that. It is capable of violence, which is more than some of my other vehicles can say. As it's now up to even more ridiculous expensively priced. But it most certainly goes. It zooms, as a matter of fact. At a high rate of fast. More power to it. I mean, I don't have a custom flag saved for it. But I will just slap the flag block down, just for good measure. Whatever it is. There it is. It now has a flag. It's the default flag, but it is a flag nonetheless. I'm glad the flag post block doesn't need an AI connection anymore. That was just silly. Well, we got ourselves a boat that floats and is able to kill enemies somehow. I wonder if the turning circle is bigger than what I told it is, and that's why it's giving the unable to move correctly error. That is a very big possibility. And it seems to be doing alright, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh well. I'm pretty happy with how it's working for right now. That said, we have been streaming for almost 4 hours now. So I think we might call it here for the evening. I might try and stream some more tomorrow, though. For now, though, thank you all for coming out and tuning into the stream, and I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Have a good evening, y'all.